I don't know about you guys, but the question that keeps running around my mind is, will the match between CM Punk and Drew McIntyre fully deliver based off of all the expectation, all the hype, all the build-up throughout the course of this year? We finally get to see them compete one-on-one at this upcoming SummerSlam event, but the only issue is there is a special guest referee, that being Seth Rollins. Hey, what's going on, wrestling fans? Welcome back to my YouTube channel. My name is Jose Ramos Jr., and if you're new to this channel, please consider liking, sharing, and subscribing to stay up to date with all the pro wrestling content that is produced on this channel. I'm just finishing watching Monday Night Raw, and a lot of events had taken place, but one of the main headlines, one of the main storylines that had taken place during this episode of Monday Night Raw was the announcement of CM Punk versus Drew McIntyre at SummerSlam. And obviously, as I mentioned in the intro, Seth Rollins will be the special guest referee, and it's a match that's been in the making for the last 7-8 months, ever since CM Punk had returned to the WWE. His name has been attached to two individuals, one being Drew McIntyre and the other, of course, being Seth Rollins. And being that his only match that he competed in WWE in this run was the Royal Rumble event, he would, of course, suffer an injury that would sideline him until today, essentially. He was cleared on Monday Night Raw, but this matchup has been built up as one of the best feuds that the WWE has centered around, the best feuds that have been told throughout this regime, and we haven't even gotten a match between any of the participants. Of course, the closest was the Royal Rumble, but I mean, in the sense of the match and in the sense of the rivalry, that doesn't really count. CM Punk will compete at his first SummerSlam event since 2013 when he lost to Brock Lesnar. This is a matchup that very well could be a main event caliber matchup. Of course, that isn't going to be the case. I think it's been already announced. If it hasn't, it's pretty much assumed that it will be Cody Rhodes defending the WWE Championship against Solo Sikoa. But staying on topic with CM Punk versus Drew McIntyre, this is a matchup that really has the potential to have a great blow-off. I think it's had a great level of momentum, a great level of storytelling that has been able to successfully been drawn out over the course of this summer. During the summertime of the WWE, this is considered to be like the lull. This is when the WWE kind of takes a step back, takes their foot off the gas, because they have to ramp up for the fall and then head into January, leading to the road to WrestleMania. But that would not be the case in this summer. We've had so many different successful stories being told, so many interesting stories being told. Of course, that being the Judgment Day, that being Cody Rhodes and his title defenses, the emerging bloodline, and of course CM Punk versus Drew McIntyre, which I think could be argued it is the feud of the year. But the one note that I do want to touch on is the inclusion of Seth Rollins. This, having him as the special guest referee, really takes me back to the 1997 event of SummerSlam, when it was the WWE Champion The Undertaker defending his title against Bret the Hitman Hart. And the one wrinkle in the story was that the special guest referee at that match was Shawn Michaels. Now, it was no secret that Shawn Michaels and Bret the Hitman Hart had their feud. They had their differences. They had a level of hatred for one another, not unlike the way CM Punk and Seth Rollins are interacting nowadays on WWE TV. I might even go on the record my first initial thoughts regarding the stipulation of the special guest referee. I would not be surprised if Seth Rollins somehow costs CM Punk this matchup against Drew McIntyre. Of course, I will be releasing a video where I reveal my predictions for each match at SummerSlam this year, but just focusing on this one, you look at Drew McIntyre and you look at the story of Drew McIntyre. This is a man he's made it his mission to climb back to the mountaintop, climb back as the world champion, winning it in front of a crowd for the first time, because he didn't win it during the pandemic and in the Thunderdome. He finally does it at WrestleMania, only to be thwarted by CM Punk, and then opening the door for that cash-in by the current champion, Damian Priest. And then you fast forward to the Scotland event, Clash at the Castle, when CM Punk would interfere again, costing Drew McIntyre rather a shot at that World Heavyweight Championship. Of course, the Money in the Bank event would see Drew McIntyre emerge as the newest Mr. Money in the Bank, and he would cash in his contract. However, because of interference by CM Punk, once again, he would lose that opportunity time and time again. We have seen Drew McIntyre, quite frankly, being screwed out of these championship opportunities. Whether it's right or wrong, that's up for debate on who you choose to support. But I do believe that in this matchup, an individual like Drew McIntyre could use this win more than CM Punk. CM Punk is a made man. And I feel like we will see something similar to that 1997 event where Bret Hart had won the championship because Shawn Michaels swung the chair, hitting The Undertaker. And what happened because of that result? Well, Shawn Michaels and The Undertaker would jump into their own feud. It would see them have a series of matches, one that includes the first ever Hell in a Cell match at Bad Blood 1997. And of course, the infamous casket match at the 1998 Royal Rumble event that would cost Shawn Michaels 4 years of his career. A little history lesson for those who are in need of it. So I think there's going to be a breakdown, of course. Naturally, because Seth Rollins is a worker, we're going to get a ref bump. And I think along the lines, towards the end of the match, that is, I think CM Punk maybe gets a little too hot, gets in the face of Seth Rollins, and something goes down. I think Drew McIntyre not only will walk away as the champion, but I think he's earned that right. Having won the championship and holding it for only 5 minutes, having lost his opportunity at Clash at the Castle, at Money in the Bank, I think he's due for finally something good, a positive note in the career of Drew McIntyre. And then naturally, I think it will progress to the feud between Seth Rollins and CM Punk. I think that essentially will be a matchup for WrestleMania 41. And seeing how they were able to draw out the McIntyre Punk feud, I think we'll probably get this match at SummerSlam. Quite frankly, I think we'll be having another matchup at Bad Blood. I can see it having them split the wins, maybe even having a third matchup, as the rubber match. But I think ultimately the end goal here is to transition CM Punk's attention back to the original threat, back to the original issue, and that was Seth Rollins. Of course, it's well known that the original matchup at WrestleMania 40 would have been CM Punk taking on the World Heavyweight Champion at that time, Seth Rollins, and because of the injury that stopped them, I think we're going to course correct and figure out a way to present that matchup at next year's WrestleMania, emanating from Las Vegas, Nevada. But being that we're still months away from that event, we have to look at SummerSlam. I think it's going to be one of the more high-profile matches. Of course, it's going to be a match a lot of people are talking about because it's going to be the first time that we see CM Punk in a match, one-on-one, on TV, for the first time in 10 years. Of course, his first match back was against Dominic at a live show. Then he had the match at the Royal Rumble. But this will be the first time we see him one-on-one. And I'm very, very much looking forward to the matchup. CM Punk, one of my all-time favorites growing up. And on top of that, just the story that is being told. You look back at some of the previous videos that I talked about in terms of tribalism. If you haven't checked out that video, please do so. And I talk about how the difference in philosophies with pro wrestling. WWE is very, very vocal about being sports entertainers, having the focus on the story. Why are these individuals fighting one another? And that's essentially what we're getting with this matchup. We've had months and months to build the anticipation, to build the excitement, and to lay the foundation as to why these two do not like each other. But we're adding another layer to it because the official for the match, Seth Rollins, also has a level of distrust, a level of distaste, and dissension towards the combatants in the matchup. But I would love to hear your guys' opinions. I would like to know, how hyped are you for this matchup? and go in and sound off in the comments below. Who do you think will emerge victorious at the SummerSlam event? Will it be Drew McIntyre? Will it be CM Punk? Will Seth Rollins get involved in some capacity? I think that goes without saying, but still, I would love to hear from you guys. Again, I'd like to thank you all for sharing the videos, liking the videos, subscribing, and continuing to support the channel and the J Area podcast. With that being said, I'll go and see you guys in the next video.